Hello. So, excuse me, my mouth is so incredibly swollen because I've just woken up, but I don't really care. You know how I am about looks. So, I just thought we'd hop right to it. Today, I want to do a two-part series. There's going to be two books I'm going to review. The first is going to be called The Mars and Venus Diet and Exercise Solution by John Gray. The second will be Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, also by John Gray. The reason I wanted to do this duality reading was to kind of demonstrate for myself and others the fact that even when you believe in kind of an alienation between the sexes, whether you felt that from the opposite sex or whether you're integrating the two halves of divine masculine, divine feminine, it is important to realize that there are definitely specific pieces of brain chemistry, happiness, romance, etc., that can be dualistic in nature. Just going to open right up to a random page. I've come to 141. It says, a woman looks for opportunities to help a man and to demonstrate that she cares for him. When she wants to help and he has not asked for help, he may easily get the message that she doesn't accept or appreciate his way of doing things. Her attempts to help are sometimes interpreted as her trying to teach him or correct him. On her planet, this is love, but it is not love on his. With the education provided in my different Mars and Venus books, a woman can learn to demonstrate her love in a manner that is more appropriate on Mars. Not only will he get more of what he wants, but this exercise will also increase serotonin production in her brain. Testosterone is the hormone of desire. It is the active acknowledgement of what has to be done. While love acknowledges what we have, desire acknowledges what we have to do, achieve, or accomplish. So, desire is more of a verb, whereas love is more of a noun. It is the actual desire, or I guess an adjective. I don't know. It is the definition of what we desire. When a man gets the feedback from a woman that his attempts to love her are appreciated, accepted, and trusted, then he feels a greater desire to be more, do more, and have more. Women inspire men to desire more. The secret in loving a man is to ignore his mistakes and shortcomings whenever possible and respond instead to his successes. A woman should not try to accept, appreciate, or trust a man's weaknesses and limitations. That would not be honest. Instead, she should minimize her importance by focusing on what she does appreciate, accept, and trust. A trusting, accepting, and appreciative attitude makes a woman attractive to a man. It brings out the best in him and helps him see and cherish the best in her. And then it says men are like rubber bands. Men also benefit from oxytocin, but too much is not as good for men. Too much oxytocin will reduce his testosterone levels. When his testosterone levels are reduced, his level of desire, motivation, and energy drop. This is most dramatically seen in physical intimacy. At the time of climax, both the man and the woman experience a moment of bonding that dramatically increases oxytocin. This is certainly a rejuvenating experience for men and women. The difference is that the bonding will lower a man's testosterone and dopamine levels so much that when he is done, he falls right to sleep. The woman, however, is fully energized and would like to continue cuddling and being close. Her body floods with oxytocin, and she benefits from lower testosterone and dopamine levels. Remember, women become overwhelmed when their dopamine levels are higher than their serotonin levels. Dopamine tells us that we have to do something, and testosterone says it needs to be done now. So literally, when you're feeling dopamine, it just means that you kind of have an inclination that something should be done. Testosterone means you get up and go. It's more of a fiery energy. With lower Martian hormones, she can relax and enjoy her need to love and bond. Unless a man has strong testosterone and dopamine levels, with increased levels of oxytocin, his testosterone drops. and he suddenly feels the symptoms of low dopamine syndrome. At the very least, he will feel his need for more space to recover and replenish his dopamine and testosterone levels. This explains the rubber band theory I explore in my book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. After men get close, they feel the need to pull away. When they stretch away like a rubber band, they will feel a strong desire to get close again after some time. When a man pulls back, he is seeking a space and a sense of autonomy in his life. This breathing room stimulates the production of testosterone and dopamine. Whenever a man is on his own and has nothing to do by himself, his testosterone and dopamine levels increase, and his oxytocin levels decrease. When testosterone levels are high, he will once again have the energy, desire, and confidence to protect and serve. He wants to be in a relationship to give freely of himself by protecting and serving. As a man gives more and gets closer and closer, his oxytocin levels go up, and gradually his testosterone levels go down. At this point, he needs to pull away, get some space, and then come back. With this insight, women don't have to take it personally when a man pulls back. When he says it is not her, he's telling her the truth. It is simply his need to balance his hormones again. So I just want to briefly intercede or interject, I suppose. I'm going to use the collage deck that I made. That is not something that is, I don't want you to think about this as men and women. I want you to think about this as being a part of the whole of who any specific individual person is on a day-to-day level, with loving, with doing anything for that matter. Women can feel that same way after if they've got more testosterone than other women, for example. Not all women have the same level of testosterone, and especially if you're using birth control, obviously that's going to be kind of spliced with a whole bunch of estrogen and progesterone. So depending on your level of integration between the masculine and feminine sides, this is something that I think women are kind of hard on themselves, or society is kind of hard on women. Let me just phrase it that way. If they feel the need to pull away after intimacy, you're looked at as manly or being an easy target, or somehow, I guess, promiscuous. A promiscuous girl is going through my head right now, so excuse me. It's more of it's a sink or swim kind of situation where if you're not as girly or womanly or ladylike because you also want your space, because you don't feel like cuddling, or because you're not as prone to want a prolonged experience with intimacy, you're seen as deficient in some way. And that's kind of another aspect of being alienated as a man or a woman. Some men really want to cuddle. They really want to like hold you and talk and all this, and that's fine. But it doesn't mean that they're any less of a man. It just means that they've maybe had less of a need to pull back, or less of a need to take the space that is expected of them to take. I think the expectation from society is where we're falling short. Okay, I don't think it has anything to do with gender. People have different reactions to everything, to being happy, to being sad. Grieving happens for people in different ways and different stages. Falling in love happens for people in different ways, different stages. There's nothing wrong with needing to express yourself in whatever way that you need to express yourself. The clear communication of what it is that you're feeling is perhaps more of a pivotal turning point if you have a solid understanding with somebody about the nature of your relationship. Is it going to be romantic? Is it going to be long term? Are you exclusive? Are you not exclusive? Those are some of the demystifying factors that we could be focusing on instead of focusing on why doesn't he want to spend time with me. Sometimes it isn't about you. It isn't always just about you and the person that you're dealing with. It's about the ultimate merger, and the ultimate merger includes good communication. So I'm just seeing here at the top of the deck the ace of, yeah, look at femininity in the reverse. This is interesting because it's this would be the feminine. Yeah, that's a whole cooch. And this says, if I started apologizing, I'd be really busy all the time. It kind of represents the fact that for a woman to feel like she needs space, or to feel like withdrawing or recoiling into herself, there's nothing deficient about her as a woman. There's nothing that's lacking. It just has more to do with the fact that she might feel more testosterone, the need to get up and do something, or the need to keep moving with her life, or continue exploring, or going out into the world and doing work. It doesn't have to do with taking things personally, is what I'm trying to say. So that's an important thing to think about when you're trying to figure out how to remain caring, loving, considerate, open in your communication, and calm when dealing with one another. The best of the both worlds and with the new. Yeah, I'm going to put these in here so I can draw without having distractions on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so this is uncommon goods coming out. HDNA. Your DNA structure literally does kind of dictate the way that you're going to be punching that golden ticket. When you have a romantic relationship, or when you've connected with somebody in any specific way, whether it be intimately or not, the way that you approach those scenarios is not only just nature versus nurture. This is the nature portion. The nurture is the reaction that you have on how to nurture that relationship. There's a tower moment. This is the Four of Wands, by the way. So the home card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. You're going to feel at home with your natural inclination to either think, say, do, or react a specific way. It's somewhat hardwired into your system. It's a series of traits. It's a character that is part of your DNA structure, quite literally. And although it might be uncommon for other people to observe that, they've never seen it before, it doesn't mean that it is wrong, that it's improper, that there's a problem, or that there's something nefarious about it. You could have grown up in a home where you never saw your parents be affectionate towards one another. There was never any intimacy that was shown in any way, shape, or form. They maybe never held hands, never pecked each other on the cheek, never slapped each other on the butt. Like, that's something that some people never witness. So although your DNA could kind of pre-declare, I guess I would say, that you would want to express that kind of love or have that kind of intimacy in relationship, that kind of interwovenness, you might not know how to express it, first of all. And second of all, if that's not the way that you were raised, then that's the nurture. This is the nature, this is the nurture. The way that you were nurtured is also the way that you're more likely to function. You can have a knee-jerk reaction, but if you know how to communicate, if you were taught how to communicate. If you understood that your parents did not have a lot of intimacy, but you did witness them talking a lot, communicating a bunch about their feelings with each other, or about how they would like for things to be, or planning things, you might have more of a coping mechanism already built into your, yeah, into your system. So I'm just seeing the poppies, the poppy flowers on this card. It says brilliant thinking from above, and this is not the 10 of cups. This is happiness. So this is the 4 of wands, the tower card, and the 10 of cups, meaning that it's not impossible to find happiness, but also some women don't get as high off the experience of intimacy as others. It's just like some women have a harder time reaching climax than others. Same thing with men. Some men may not find it as compelling. They might feel used after you've had a moment of intimacy, and as a woman, just get up and are kind of like, okay, well, that was fun. They have feelings too. They might not have the knee-jerk reaction to just get up and leave. You know, it is all right, is what I'm trying to say, that there's a spectrum of, there's a dualistic reaction that can happen on either side, depending on how in touch you are with the nature, the nurture, and the actual happiness that you feel on the inside of yourself, how content you are within that relationship as well as with other people. So top of the read is you and me. That really wanted to be out here. So we'll leave that. Yeah. I'm gonna stop here. hmm Pages 141 through 143. Oh, 143 is I love you. Anyway, let me get another deck to clarify. We're going to use the motherhood deck, and I'll also clarify with the map shifters, just so that you can understand a little bit more the mental energy that might exist within the might. Everyone's going to have a different reading. That's what I'm saying. This is just meant to say, solitude or having two solo people need to come together and have their own lives, and that probably function very differently genetically, the way that they were raised, as well as what they view as happiness. I'm going to look at this happiness card here as like the outcome. What do you expect a relationship? Do you expect only intimacy every so often? Like, are you cuddle buddies, or are you, or is it supposed to be a merger on a large scale? Whatever way that you're looking as or at this as a merger, whatever kind of romance you're talking about, whether it be whirlwind or permanent, just remember that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or forever. Give this a quick shuffle. So for the 4 of Wands, please, please. Yeah, Stormfields. This is a, let me just get the other ones out first. But what I'm feeling here is like your DNA can really be, you see this winding, you see the tornado? It's touched down, and that I'm just seeing this tornado as being the path that you're going to follow in life. It's black and white because you've got a set from your mother, you've got a set of DNA from your father. You're walking the path to some degree of both your mother and your father. This is the DNA, the structure that was sent from above. All right? And it doesn't mean, the number 9 here meaning like That's kind of the makeup of your physical vessel, the way that your brain chemistry is already hardwired. This nurture is more of it's the software. If this is the hardware, this is the software. Okay. And this is the way that the operating system is expected to service. They're talking about service and protect and serve. This is the service that should be expected from both sides being put together. This is the way that you bring them into relationship with other human life, right? Okay, so here's the Mountain coming out. It did come out like in the reverse, but I'm going to only take cards in the upright for this reading, only for the fact that it's more important to see the correlations. So from 9 to 6, there's a 3-point shift. That is the understanding of like these 3 points right here. Okay, it's the trifecta of love. It's the ability to use your emotional cues, what's coming down from above, and open your mouth about it so that you can build a foundation, a mountain, which I'm just seeing here, that is like a mountain shape right there. You can see it. This locks in right there. So if you think about the pyramids, there's actually a specific reason those pyramids are built exactly where they are. And it is so that when the two pieces of information about time of year, celestial alignment, and a religious necessity or a ritualistic necessity come together, the brilliance from above can actually shine down and be received. So the use of the pyramids have been widely, I guess. I mean, there's pyramids all over the world. It's not just in Egypt. The Aztec, the Mayan pyramids had significant meaning. There are pyramids all over the place. If you go in the Arctic, apparently, there's pyramids all over. That's at least 3 different locations. You can go look up the rest. The merger is finding out where they are, why they're there, and their function. So this is for the function. If we want a happy outcome with this merger, some people are perfectly happy having cuddle buddies, by the way. I just want to point that out. So I don't want people to look at this and say, oh, this is only about marriage and only about, romantic puppy love or what. No, I'm talking about every kind of relationship that you can have with the opposite sex or with the same sex, if that floats your boat. I'm talking about the opposite sex right now, though. So there's Ghostlands. This is the portal, the opening of a portal. It is the spiritual download that is literally, I want to say, here. So your DNA plus your divinity coming together through a portal. That is what intimacy is. And it does have a dopamine oxytocin kind of effect, whether you're in a relationship or not. There's a reason that people masturbate. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. Master debating is the thing that there's a whole waterfall right through that portal. It's a source of emotion. Water in the tarot is emotion. So we've got 9, 6, and 17. Let me get one for the you and me top of the read, please. Listening, but then we've also got stuck in the mud. So listening means, all of these, if you're listening to your genetic input, the way that you were nurtured to build anything, and then also the water, the emotion, the communication of the brilliance that could come through. If it's from above, then there's something to be said for that. Elephants don't really, I mean, they can make the elephant sound, which I'm not going to make because my jaw is too swollen today to do that. However, I am saying if there's going to be a merger, elephants don't necessarily mate for life, but they are very emotional creatures. They feel emotion far more deep than other, well, they've been observed to do that at least. They grieve for longer periods of time. They actually have tears that come out of their eyes when they're grieving. When they're really happy, they all run to greet a new member of the tribe, I guess you could say. They're not stuck in an emotional state of disconnect. And whether that's genetic or whether that's something that is ethereally kind of passed down, I don't know. It's the ability to listen to what is required, what is wanted, or I guess you could say, I think in there it was talking about the desire as well as the love, the verb, and then also the outcome. Like their desired outcome is to be a unification. That merger is what they're looking for, so they're going to pass through the portals that make sense to them to do so. Okay, Six of Wands is coming out. That's a victory. I'm just going to say it's interesting that she's like, bleeding all over the place. And she actually has 4 arms in this. This is the Jesus card. There's the crone is Jesus. You see the cane. This is victory. There's the angel with the star giving the message. Coming down to a crossroads. So I'm going to show you her arms one more time because there's 2 sets of arms. There's one arm coming up this way holding this stick, one arm coming down this way holding that stick. So she's technically got 4 sticks in her hand, which is interesting with the 4 of Wands. And then here with the number 6 in the mountain, as well as the tower moment, this is the arrival of, this would be the equivalent of the angel coming to Mary in her dreams and telling her that she's going to have an immaculate conception. There's the angel and the moon holding the sun and the moon in the sky. And there's the mountain, actually. Like there's 2 mountains, just like in this picture. Mountain, right? Here's one mountain, there's another, or pyramid, however you want to look at it. There's the message coming from the star and the moon down to humanity. There's the signpost, it's a crossroads. So if you ever heard meet me at the crossroads, that is the intersection of the 2 coming together. Take it how you will. Yeah. I'm just gonna read the actual whole, I'll post this as the cover of this reading, but I also just want to say, it says, the Mars and Venus diet and exercise solution create the brain chemistry of health, happiness, and lasting romance. So this is the happiness card here. Health, happiness, and lasting romance. Understand how men and women gain and lose weight differently. Discover how food affects your moods and relationships. Gain unending energy and sustain passion for a lifetime. This is by John Gray. Forward by Daniel G. Amen. I don't know why I felt the need to just show you book again, but I think it's because it's the same colors, color schematics going on. Kind of plugs in to the understanding of this next book is going to be these colors. All right, and then we've got devil energy. I don't think this is literal devil energy. This is literally, the way that people, we're looking at the diet. We're looking at the fact that people have alienated themselves from one another, not believing it's okay to experience sexuality, not thinking that it's okay to discuss it, not being willing to build on what it is that they already know to be true. If you look at this, you can actually see a man sitting inside of a portal at the very top of that building, and all these people are chained to it. A lot of discontentment comes when there's no clear communication, when there's no clear boundaries being set, when there are no clear expectations from both sides, and this happiness cannot be found. This is the duality. So, you've got the yin and the yang, the man and the woman, or the energy of male and female coming together, hopefully to create more of a zenful kind of existence, right? But if that is something that's so crazy, literally, I'm going to try to hold this as close to the camera as I can, but you can see the numbers. It's like he's sitting inside of a clock, and that's literally what this portal looks like. The portal can be opened for positive, but it can also be opened for negative. Sometimes people will try to have a baby if they think, or try to get pregnant by somebody if they think that, or try to get somebody pregnant if they think that they want to hold on to them or keep them stuck in the relationship because they don't understand the mentality of their partner, or they don't want them swimming away. You know what I mean? Like there are nefarious ways that sex is used, and that is why I guess there's so much contention, a lot of nervousness, and fear surrounding lust. Is he only lusting after me? Does he want to marry me? Is it for a reason, a season, or forever? Reason, season, or forever? People want to know the answer to that question. That happiness comes from being willing to keep an open mind, to understand that your prerequisites might not match their prerequisites, and that's all right. Okay, here's the 7 of discs. So this is building, but also this is a pregnant woman sitting in a field full of watermelons. To me, that just means that it's better for you to be on your own and feeling nurtured, having that nutritional value that you need. If you're willing to understand that, you can then come together with other people. And you don't hear it through the grapevine. You don't hear it through any other means. She's alone in that picture, not because she has to be. She's actually not alone. She's pregnant. But also she's pensive. Like this is about I'm just seeing this as being one grapefruit. Excuse me, grapefruit. Okay, one grapefruit. This is another grapefruit. This is another grapefruit. And she's made watermelon out of it. Maybe she, if we were to think about one set of genetics as being grapefruit and the other set of genetics as being watermelon, if hers are the watermelon, she's now sitting on a vine of watermelon, pregnant with a grapefruit. It's kind of like that. It's understanding other people do not have necessarily the same blueprint. This Time magazine is huge compared to this one little piece of paper. But the peace of mind that comes from listening to yourself, to what you know to be true, or the way that you know is your best and highest, level of resonance with other humans, especially in romantic relationships, as well as what you know to be either happiness or discord. You're either hitting the chord or you're missing the chord, but there's not really a whole lot of in between. I want to say last and that not least at all, but that when you're pregnant, or for women, for females, when we are pregnant, um, there's a she's not stuck in the mud, is what I'm saying. There's no male, because that's the path that she's about to walk. She's now integrated her bloodline of uncommon goods. This is the continued path. She's sitting on the path. We saw the DNA download, right? Then there's a path to walk here on this planet in your own vessel. Although men can be very present while you're pregnant, they cannot do it for you. They cannot complete a pregnancy. That's a solo journey that if you're not okay with doing by yourself, then it's probably the reason why we've got a lot of single mothers who've never been married or never had a partner that was committed to this journey with them, is because there's double energy here too. So this is kind of the flip side of happiness is the double. This portal is the in between happiness and double energy, or we could do it opposite. This portal is keeping time, just like this one is. Okay, and the happiness resides in, I don't know, the other side of the rainbow in Wizard of Oz. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say, is that a man doesn't really have the same connection with a child until after they're born. She's able to listen to the path that this child is taking to as it is growing inside of her literal body. In this specific case, it's her and the baby merging. This portal was simply the way that this came to be. Understanding whether you want to reproduce, whether you don't want to reproduce. And that's part of demystifying the devil versus this happiness. It is completely up to the partners to figure out what that looks like, or the expectation. And the expectation largely creates the brain chemistry. If it's health, happiness, and long-lasting romance, that's the balance. Okay? And I think I'm just going to leave that there. Going to leave that exactly there.